I like to be in front of a camera. I like to entertain. You have to know your boundaries before you go into it.
We just do that and skip this other weird part.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Jalen.
It's me, Jalen.
Jalen is a friend of mine and a member of ismygirl.com and an entrepreneur. Tell everybody what you do.
Something like that. I model, do the webcam modeling. I watch my dogs because that's a job in itself. And that's about it as of right now. I already went to college, graduated with my bachelor's degree, and I'm kind of just making my way through the adult entertainment world.
Nice. What got you involved? The same cliche bullshit. I won't go into it too long.
It's okay. What got me involved in the adult entertainment industry? I think I'd always wanted to do it. I was wearing like Playboy when I was in like 8th grade. Just interested in that type of work or whatever. And I had been watching some cam models. I guess I followed them on Tumblr, and then I realized what they did, watched them for a while, got into that, and then just started modeling out of it. So
very good. How long you been doing it now?
4 years. I just had my, what would you call, camiversary. But I would only say like really 2 years, because I think I took like 2 10-month breaks in between those 4 years due to relationships and things like that. So yeah, I haven't been going 4 years strong, but now it's the strong part of it.
And now you're on game.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And we were just talking about what to do with our bodies, speaking of which, when we die. And we had kind of tapped in on that you thought the casket thing was weird. I said there's not enough space for it in the world. You talked about cremation. I told you about the idea that that would release all these like toxins, or even burying bodies would release all these toxins. So I started hearing about these crazy rituals with like the Tower of Silence, where they actually have these towers in India where they line the bodies. It's literally a tower with like a donut shape on the inside with a lip on it so you can't see in. And they just line the bodies there, and they just let them rot, and they let the vultures eat them, and all the gore and everything runs into this cavern in the middle. And when they're done, they just throw all the bones in. So there's just these piles of bones in the middle. And it's really neat because they don't feel that way it pollutes the world, pollutes the land, and the birds get something to eat. But because India has this mysterious shortage of vultures, like 99% of the population has died or gone away, they don't know what to do with these bodies. They're just sitting up there rotting. And as the cities have grown, there's actually complaints from the high rises that can see the bodies. And they're like, we don't want to see this. Like, well, don't move next to this tower that's been here for 2,000 years and quit bitching. Like, if you want to have that view, hey, maybe you should even have to pay extra for that. Right. But they even had to shut some of them down. And then we talked about the spore suit, where you wear this crazy mushroom suit and it eats all the toxins from your body, and you like naturally like reprocess back into the population, or I mean into the earth. So I've been really on this strange trip reading about these, because I mean it's a subject people don't want to talk about, but you got to do something with you, and you got to have this game plan, or else you're just this annoying thing that is just in other people's way, and other people have to figure out what to do with it, and that's not fair.
But do you even have the option to do like anything else here besides like in America besides meat or whatever?
Well, you can do that. I think you could do the mushroom thing. I don't think anybody's going to care about that. But like maybe like fertilizer or something. Like, quit making it so like such a big deal. Just be like, oh, you can donate your body to the plastination dude, the body exhibits guy. The crazy German dude who does all the plastination, the bodies exhibit, where they skin the human bodies and they skin the elephants and all that stuff, and they plastinate their body. It's really you. So you can go donate your body to that.
Oh no, that's weird. I even think I get people donating their body for science, but I even find that a little crazy.
What do you mean crazy? That's awesome.
I mean, it is awesome for sure, but like in my anatomy class, like I didn't want to go see the people. Like I didn't want to. I mean, like I think it'd be.
You didn't want to go see the people.
Yeah,
like anatomy class. Isn't that what you, like technically have to do?
No, you don't have to like look at a dead person. They don't make you they make you like dissect frogs and stuff and cats, which is actually terrible. Like when you think about it, but yeah, I know that they covered like their face and their hands and like stuff like that, but it was just like.
Why'd they cover their hands?
I don't know, because I think your hands make you look more real or something. I don't know, your fingerprints
It
or
is
whatever.
real.
Listen, I don't know, man. That's just when they cover their feet, their hands, and their face, I guess.
That's even creepier.
Listen,
That seems like some weird puppet thing.
I did not go look at it. I was like, no, I'm all right. Like,
I didn't know you were squeamish. I thought you were a hard ass all the way around.
not squeamish. I just don't like death. Like, it's not gonna make me throw up, but it's like if I have an option of not looking at somebody when they're dead, like that's fine.
Okay, so no anatomy for you, no death stuff. Would you ever do the? Have you ever thought about doing one of the castings for like the sex dolls thing, being in the adult industry?
Yeah, I think those are kind of cool. I mean, those are wild. I think when we were at AVN convention or whatever, like they have those around, and some of them look like too real. But it's even kind of freaky when you see people go and like play with them. It's definitely weird.
It's strange to watch it. It's uncomfortable to be in the space while people are molesting them.
Yeah, so that's what we thought. I forgot who we were talking to. We were talking to some girl, and like some guy went up and like fingered this like sex doll, and we were just kind of like,
They're like,
I guess you're interested in seeing how it feels, like for sure. I guess you know what I mean?
Yeah, my thing with that though, one, it is strange, but I mean, to your own. Like, I don't give a damn what you're into. But
Right,
like the public ones, like in the sex shops, when they have the like stick your finger in the thing to feel it, like that's just gross. Like, you should not just be all collectively fingering things together.
Right.
I think you need to have some separation.
Like your fingers probably have bacteria on them too. Like you gotta hand sanitize yourself after you finger a plastic doll.
Yeah, that's just weird. And they take it really far, man. It's like full relationships. They bring them in for the couples. And, you know, I never know if that stuff is marketing, you know, for the shows where it shows them like in relationships with them. But these are major companies, and these companies don't produce one or two. They produce a lot of them. So there are a lot of people buying these things, so much so that they can keep developing new ones. So it's
and
there.
like better ones. They've even said that. Like I've seen them on like Snapchat stories, especially in like Tokyo, where like their like sex robots are gonna replace sex with like another person. They say in like the next whatever. I think I remember reading a thing where it said my generation was gonna be the last generation that has sex like for fun. Like people just do it so much with themselves or with toys and robots and all that thing that like people aren't gonna interact like to have sex for fun. And I was like, how wild! Like that's like a weird.
Yeah, I doubt that 100%. I think that more and more will do it, but just like how you've seen all the other crazy ass fetishes out there, there will always be people that want to have, you know, a different experience, whatever it is. And if the norm becomes this distractionary, then regular intercourse is going to become some obscure fetish, and there'll always be people into it.
Yeah.
But no, that I can vouch for that. My experience in Tokyo was similar. Like they talked about how procreation is like an issue. Less and less of the youth are interested in being physical. They're more into games. I mean, I'm going. It was cliche. Like I went in, incredible place, by the way. Like one of my favorite trips ever. But like after work hours and even during, you'd go into these like pachinko and these like toy stores and the whole electronics district. And it's grown-ass men. It's 50-year-old men, and they're just, like, playing kid games and, like, buying toys and, like, wandering the streets until 3, 4 in the morning drinking and not going home. Like, it was wild. Like, there was definitely that separation. And the strip clubs weren't I might already said this one, but it's been a while. The strip clubs weren't strip clubs. They were hostess bars. It's funny. They just started there's a new show on like Sex in the World on CNN, and they went to those places that I was talking about where it's hostess bars. You go there and you pay money to sit and talk and drink with a woman. And the boy bars do even better, where the business women go and they sit with these like super pretty androgynous Japanese boys with like anime haircuts like out to here and like multicolored like Italian suits, like these really slick suits. And they're just like really pretty. And they're just, everybody just like talks. There's no sex in them or anything. It's so detached. And they're like paying money for this shit.
Like they just want the companionship, I guess.
Yeah, because they're just so focused on work and so focused on whatever else they're doing that they don't have time to just sit down. So they're just like, fuck it, I'll pay for it. And then I don't have to deal with the aftermath and the bullshit texts and like all the drama. And then I was like, you know, you're thinking about it, like, that's just really smart.
Right. Like it's kind of like a hookup buddy, but you're not hooking up, so there's literally no.
Yeah, there's no no
anything.
pressure on it. Yeah. And then it was just these super old women in the street asking me for happy endings. And I was like,
You're like,
I'm not trying to be an ageist here, but like, yeah, like, no thanks, ma'am. Appreciate that. Can I help you cross the street?
right.
Like, you look like you need soup.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I'll just buy you soup. Can we
Right.
just do that and skip this other weird part? So that's, being in the adult industry and in the tech side of it and working on the different platforms like the messaging and the Is My Girls and the camming and the yada, 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 that's going to be really neat to see where that goes, right? Because like the print is almost done. You know what I mean? It's almost a novelty. There is still a call for it because it is a novelty at this point. So I think people actually want to get a print in their hands now more than they may did like 5-6 years ago. But where do you see it going? Where do you see your profession in adult going from here?
I don't know exactly if I know, and I guess sometimes that does worry me because I haven't quite figured that out, like what I want to do, obviously, in like 10 years from now. But I know that I always want to stay in it in some way, whether it be like in the business side of it as a like photographer or just working with like companies like AVN or something like Is My Girl where you're more running the behind the scenes stuff, you know what I mean? Like you do like the managers or stuff like that because I know that I like the industry and I think I just know how to run the business type really well. And my phone needs to not be out loud, clearly. But I think that's where I
Always
want.
working. She's always working.
I didn't think it was like on loud. Like since when is that happening? But I think that's like where I want to stay in some part of it. You know, whether it's like photography or directing or some type of thing. I know that I want to be in that. I like the fact that it's not a 9 to 5. I like that I kind of can like work from home or like travel with it. And I do like that. And I think I want to stay in that type of business in some way. I got my bachelor's degree to make sure that I had something to fall back on, but I do love this industry and what it is and what it's done for me and how it's made me feel about myself and stuff like that. So I think I'll figure that out. I think I'm not too pressured to figure it out right now because what I have right now is pretty good. Camming seems to be gotten so much bigger. When I started, I think I went to the first AVN in 2016, and it was so little compared to what AVN is for cam models now. Like the amount of booths that cam models have and how popular we are, it's definitely gotten a lot bigger just in the last like 2 years, which I think is pretty rad. So,
Right.
Yeah. But it's more about companionship. It's not as like sexual as like, people think, which is crazy because you tell someone you're a cam model and they just think you're just like going at it with toys like all day long. And it's like, no, it's like 3% of what my show is. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. I like the companionship too that I get from not leaving my house and also being an introvert, I guess you can say.
But see that ties right in with the experience that I saw over there. You're just doing it virtually. Like people are really going for that. And like, a lot of times the illusion of it is sometimes the most erotic part, like the constant wanting. Like I knew girls, friends of mine that were doms and like even ones with like sugar daddies that played that full role, they didn't hook up with them. And when they did, and when I asked them, I was like, why don't you hook up? And one of them would tell me, because when you hook up, it's over. So like there was a lot of times that it just wasn't the same thing and it was just a string along and it was a companionship, whether they do single or married or whatever. It was just a part of their dynamic, And
I like how it even is in real life. Like you hook up with somebody and it almost like ruins it. Like, and I think I've noticed that just from both. It's like I think that's like it's such almost taboo now. Like that it's so there needs to be so much more than hooking up. I feel like sex is so easy to get these days, I guess you can say. That there has to be something more to like keep somebody interested, and I think that works for and everything too.
Well, and it just when you're picking partners, you should know what you're talking to. If you're talking to somebody who's collecting, then understand you're collecting or you're being collected. Like that's what it is at that time. If you're looking for something else, and it's something else. But you can't expect something different than what it is right out the gate, and people have a misconception of what they're involved in. So I like what you do because brothels, bordellos, all of those things, concubines, all of those concepts, those are not new. Those were tried to be stomped out. We were in Alaska once, and I think they said the last brothel closed down in the 70s or 80s. Like this was a normal part of society. And I'm not one for saying, hey, everybody should just do whatever they want. But pure monogamy is for some people, and it is not for others. And there used to be those outlets for people. And in most cultures, in most countries, there still are those outlets. And they would go and do what they wanted to do. Like now we give it like strip club is the limit, I guess. But they would go do what they wanted to do to blow off whatever, no pun intended, and then like come back. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go fall in love with this hooker or whatever. It was that they would be, you know, working for weeks or months or years in another city at a time. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm going out to California to try and find gold. And if I find it, I'm going to come back. You know, it was different. Like you weren't inundated with each other all the time. So it worked, you know, and I don't think anybody should be forced to. I don't think any kind of sex work under like forced, you know, parameters is acceptable in any way, shape or form. But the idea that there should not be outlets for people that don't fall into the stereotypical formula of a relationship is ridiculous. And for all these crazy motherfuckers like the dude up in Toronto that turns out he's part of that weird club of guys that feel that women, attractive women, have ostracized them. So now they're a group of people who get on and bitch and talk about how women owe them sex and like they can't get it and they're these rejects of society. Now 2 mass killers have turned out to be a part of that or connected to that. That shit, it's really fucked up. It's kind of unbelievable. I need to do more research on it, but I've already like heard enough about it to be like, fuck, this is the type of dumb things that could be alleviated in an environment that like in Nevada where wanton sex workers could have a job and a dude or a person that could not connect with people could go connect, female or male or trans or bi or whatever, that they could have that. And to put these weird limits where we say, certain aspects of sex work is okay and others aren't, like it's silly. Like how is one level of expression, how is stripping and, you know, doing that or modeling for that matter, or, you know, getting sculpted as a nude, like how are the differences they put on that are just dumb.
But I mean, I've even gone, so in like Vegas, they have obviously like the male, I guess you wouldn't even call it a male strip club, but like the Thunder Down Unders and stuff like that. Like I've been to that twice. And even like sitting in there, I've looked at my friends and I'm like, how many girls in here do you think shame girl sex workers? You know what I mean? Like how many girls in here do you think would hate us because of what we do? But they see these guys and they're throwing themselves at them. And there's also that like stigma of girls like totally down to have a guy hump them in the face with their abs out, but it's like if a girl, you know, is a stripper, then it's like,
yeah, it's just like
issue
the whole time, like just bouncing off foreheads the whole time.
Yeah, and it's like totally a thing to where like these girls hate other women for it, and I don't get it. And I see it a lot on Twitter though, the same thing with like the stalkers and the stuff like that. A lot of cam models do have the stalkers that whatever, or the people that come after them to find out who they are in real life, and I never understand that. And I think it's like that whole thing too of like them being like the rejects or whatever, because we get a lot of trolls obviously on our like cam site too, of people that are just to us for no reason. But it might also be that thing where it's like these guys don't have an outlet to get what they want and they're upset that we won't give it to them or whatever. And I fully think that prostitution should be legal 1,000%. I think it should be regulated, legal. I think it'll be way safer because like even you know, for me, porn stars are safer to have sex with than somebody like you meet off of Tinder. You know, and that's the thing is people meet people off of Tinder and they sleep with them and then they call a porn star a whore. And it's like, well, a porn star's at least tested every 2 weeks. You know, this guy that you're sleeping with had probably just slept with 10 girls from Tinder before you, and you see no issue in that, but you see issue in somebody that gets paid to what you do for free. And it's a weird dynamic of how anybody hates sex workers for, you know. But even like on a live, I had somebody tell me that I was the reason why somebody left their wife. It was like, or why this is why guys cheat on their wives in like an Inked magazine live. And I was just like, I am not the reason why guys cheat on their wives. I do not tell guys like, oh, come over and come cheat with me. Like, no, I'm just talking about my tattoos. Like, it's weird how we get blamed like sex workers for certain things or way people act. And like, oh yeah.
And it's ridiculous because everybody likes porn.
Right.
The people who say they don't like it the most. Right. And the people who like try and shit on the other people for it are in this weird hook, man. Like It is, man. I talked about this with Annabelle Peaks on ours too. It is so strange how there's like progress and then like blatant rejection. Oh my God. I'm all hopped up on fucking espresso beans covered in chocolate. So I'm like jacked up. But this regression, there's progress and regression that happens at these huge levels. And how can you sit here and talk about all this empowerment and all of this liberation and all of this freedom and all of this equality and then slut shame somebody and just be like, oh, well, your version of beauty doesn't fit my standard of beauty. I'll go to the store and buy $1,000 worth of makeup. I'll get lipo. I'll get my, my fucking facelift. I'll do all of this shit to look a certain way, clearly to fit in a mold of sexual approval. You know what I mean? 100%. And then I'll turn around and shit on these people that do it and actually make money with it. So maybe it's just a jealousy thing. Maybe they're like, well, fuck, I can't.
That new bill or whatever, that FOSTA or whatever that's called, that's passing around. And I don't know much about it. I just always sign the petitions because I know it's going to be bad for sex workers. But it's mainly for like escorts and stuff like that. But it's like literally a bill that's trying to say like all sex workers are traffickers. You know what I mean? That we're put into this business against our will, that we're all sex trafficking people that are here, you know what I mean, that they're trying to like, they're passing this bill to try to help the sex trafficker victims or whatever, but in actual reality, it's like making it worse type thing. But it's like, why would everybody in the sex industry be a sex trafficking victim? Like that doesn't, you know what I mean? That's very far from what it is. It's like I'm sure there's platforms, I think in like studios and stuff like that, there are girls that might be there, that would be the more thing. But, I think there's a way to figure that out and they're not going against it well. Like everybody just hates sex workers all of a sudden. It's like it was really good back in the day. Now it's like it was okay. And now like people are trying to, get rid of it all together. And it's kind of like weird how that how it's anyone's business, how they're so against.
And that is a great example because the ones that are regulated and are doing an actual job, those are the ones that'll get targeted, and the ones that are filling a demand will continue to do what they're doing because there's a demand. And there's always that. It's always go attack the symptom, not the cause, right? It's never like figure out why socially we are breeding people that want to rape and have sex with children. Like, don't attack that social responsibility. Don't attack that lack of like community and sense of like togetherness and how we can all communicate and like we can find these things out, like in the mental health problems and things like that. Don't worry about all of that. Let's go attack the demand. I mean, the people providing the demand.
All over my pictures or even on the lives and stuff like that are just like, how do you expect anyone to respect you if you don't respect yourself or something because you have a little top on or something? And I'm like, for one, why wouldn't I respect myself because I'm wearing little clothing? Two, teach somebody to respect somebody no matter what the fuck they do. Unless I disrespect you in a way that harms you or puts you down or something, teach whoever you need to teach that you're going to respect me no matter what clothes I'm wearing. And that's always like, wow, I think they tell us, put on more clothing and then people respect you. And I'm like, bullshit. Like if somebody's going to be in my life, they're going to respect me if I'm standing in front of them naked or if I'm standing in front of them in a sweatshirt and pants. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
No matter
there's people, there's women in business suits and politicians and everything else, and they can wear suits all day long, and I still don't respect them. Judges wear robes, and I don't respect a lot of them. Like it doesn't make any sense. And then like the weird thing about the outfits and the clothing that's really strange to me, somebody will talk shit about what you're wearing right now, right? They'll be like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But I'm distractions. Squirrel. But I'm from Florida and we went to the beach every day.
Right.
And that clothing is acceptable. And nobody goes out there and shits on the girls, you know what I mean? A 16-year-old girl for wearing a bikini. So what the fuck does it have to do with the top you're wearing right now is more material than most of the entire bikinis. And it's just crazy. And people cheat themselves out of so much. People create so many non-issues. And that's a big thing today. Like a lot of the topics that people get fired up about socially and like go harp on are the ones that really don't matter because they can't affect the ones that do. You know what I mean? You like watch the news every day and the thing that highlights the news every day, the chaos in DC and all of this none of us can actually do anything about it. So if there's one injustice done somewhere at some superficial level, somebody gets, the slightest thing that they feel like they can go throw their weight in on, they over attack it. And I think that's what happens with women, especially in the sex work. It's like they can't affect anything in their own life. They can't adjust anything in their failed marriages or their failed expectations of themselves. So they just turn on somebody else for what they're doing. I've never understood the amount of time and energy people have to completely focus on everybody else. And I get sucked into it with this whole, with the kind of the social chaos we're in now more than I like. And I always have to pull back and make sure I'm dedicating some time for my own interests and my own energies, because you can get lost in it. But I think that's what happens, man. I think you just become an easy target. And unfortunately, the men that do it typically are trying to cover something. They're trying to cover their own things, just like people that cry wolf, you know what I mean? They generally have the most going on. The emptiest can rattles the loudest and all that. And then with the women that attack, man, it's so obvious dealing with their own insecurities and a social structure that does judge them. And I'm not blaming them for this. I'm saying that they have become victim of all of the expectations and the shortcomings they may feel they have fitting in that mold. So then they just fucking fire on you or somebody like you. You know what I mean?
Like you see the Victoria's Secret models, and even those, it's like you guys watch the Victoria's Secret fashion show and they love that. And it's like those girls are just walking around in a bra and underwear too. But that's okay because it's Victoria's Secret.
Correct.
All their magazines that they're just in little things, or there's girls that pose nude all the time. Like fitness models will pose nude, and it's like even if you're just showing off your muscles or whatever, how is that any different than what I'm doing? You know what I mean? Like I don't see the difference. Posing nude in one way is the same as posing nude in any other way.
Absolutely. Go to any college. They're going to have figure studies and they're going to have nude models standing there, male and female. And nobody's saying anything about that because they're drawing it with charcoal. Like, how is that?
Hitting up people on social media being like, oh, like, here are my rates, come fuck me and do this or whatever. And it's like, I understand how that could be a little much. It's like, but I am in no way inviting anybody to come over and see me or do anything. So it's like, I post what I post, and that's how it is. And I post it because I want to. And I was totally held back before I did all of this because I would always be like, oh, is this too much for Instagram? Like, am I going to upset somebody else? And I'm like, fuck other people. You can unfollow me if you don't want to see my shit. But Absolutely. It's like what I like to do. And it's just people hate people for doing what they like, which is
well, and I've run into this in my life with a lot of different businesses. Is like we tend to focus on the few people that have something shitty to say and ignore the hundreds or thousands of the ones who support you. And that's a big thing, like dealing with models with, Inked or Steadfast or whatever I was doing at the time. The girls would go up and they'd post something and they'd have 10,000 likes and then a couple of people hating it. And that's all they could see. But I've been the same way in my life. You hear the I hate yous, you forget the I love yous. You know what I mean? So that's like something that we do, and we take it so personally. And some of the models, especially, so delicate. You know what I mean? Right. So unbelievably delicate that like one statement like that could just destroy them. And so I would be quick to be like, mathematically, I always say if you have 100 people that know who you are, one is going to not like you. So if you have 1 million people that know who you are, you're going to have 10,000 don't like you. Like, it's going to work out. It's always going to be that way. So I always try and explain to models or anybody trying to do anything, for every time you hear something negative or you get a new hater or whatever you want to describe it as, you got 99 more that just came on board. And if you think about it like that, that's a real ratio. You know what I mean? It's hard to be the other way. It's very difficult to have people only hate you. You know what I mean? So like, you just got to think about it like that and let that shit ride, because it's not helping you. You focused on the people that don't want to see you, are not helping you on your page, paying you the money of the ones that do. So fuck it.
Right. You have to have tough skin to be in this field for sure. You know what I mean? Like, you can't take somebody telling you that this is bad or whatever. You can't like take it to heart, because I mean, even in the cam world, you get so many trolls that just pop up randomly just to talk shit to you for no reason. They've been on the sites for 8 years or something, never spent money, but they're on there every single day, like bringing you down for whatever reason. You have to like realize that they just have their own shit. Like, there's nothing wrong with you, that like the second you ban them, they're just going to go to another girl's room. Like, it's nothing.
That's their poison.
Yeah, as like a person. And I think people take it very personally, and it's like, you can say whatever you want to me, but it's like, really, I don't care. But it's like, you almost have to not even care about the good stuff too. You know, you
Right.
kind of have to like not take either in, especially just from people you don't know. Like, take the goods, the positives from people that you know, but you kind of just have to like brush everything off and just keep doing what makes you happy. And then you get responses that you get, but you just kind of have to keep going with who you are. And then, you know, people will follow you that like you and people unfollow you that don't. But you can't take it personally either way. See, people don't know you as a person. They know you based on your social media, and your social media isn't you, you know. And I think people kind of like forget that. Even like your character on a site of whatever in the adult entertainment industry is almost not you. You know what I mean? You
Right.
have like a person that you stick with, and this is your character, and this is who you are and who you play and whatever. And it's like, it's not who technically you are personally. So you kind of just have to realize that before you take things to heart as like people hating you as a person, because that's not the case.
And is that what you would most like? You're getting to that stage now where you're known and people are looking up to you and stuff in the industry and wanting to come into it. Would that be one of the main things that you encourage with young models coming into it, or young cam girls wanting to come into it? Because I give my own advices to them, and you have a much different perspective. But mine was like the things that I just got done saying about the ratio. You're always going to have somebody. The other thing is like, don't get taken in by any guy or female for that matter that's going to kind of dominate the situation. You can have one as a mentor, you can have managers, you can have whatever, but really be careful with that, because the thing that I found in the tattoo model world, or the alt model world, and was that a bunch of like limp dick photographers that never got pussy in their life got a camera and started snapping pictures of girls, and the girls are getting this attention and this gratification, and these I call them like 5-cent pimps, where they think they're like, they sell this dream to these girls that they're going to make them and they're going to do this. No fucking photographer is going to make shit, because even no matter how good the pictures are, if you don't connect to the population, if you don't connect to your fan base, it don't fucking matter. I mean, there's amazing photographers that have taken incredible shots of girls that it's never gone anywhere, because it's all about your network. So, you know, that's one of the biggest things I always tell them is, don't let any of these type people get their hooks into you. Know the difference between a manager, a mentor, and a pimp, and just somebody that's controlling and somebody that's dominating and somebody that's just going to like, you know, it's that whole like, tear you down in a way that you can feed them crumbs. Like if you starve something and you give it crumbs, it stays with you because it's starving and it gets those crumbs, and things are going to get better, and things are going to be this, and things are going to, and one day I'm going to make you a star. You know what I mean? And selling that bullshit. Yeah. I never tell anybody that. I say, look, everything I've ever done, whether it was my parlor, the brand, the stuff we do with ink, whatever it is, I say, we provide opportunities. And sometimes they will connect for you, and I will work really hard to make those things work better and better. But I'm not promising you anything that I can't determine.
Right.
There's been a ton of times in life where things should have worked out great on 100 different platforms that I've done, and sometimes the shit just don't connect. Right. Sometimes you open a restaurant on the wrong side of the street, and for no reason other than the traffic is difficult to get into that parking lot, that fucker fails. And it can move right across the street and succeed, you know? So that's some of the...
That's even like going to the gas station. I won't go to a gas station if it's too hard to get to. So, you know what I mean? Right. It's like, that really is a thing.
No, it really is. It can be the smallest detail. So don't promise people bullshit you can't deliver. Just help people. Just give people the opportunity and give them your effort to help it go along. But coming from your perspective, being an adult and being a lady and adult, what would be some of the advice you would give first to the girls and then to the fans that maybe don't carry themselves well?
I mean, the best advice that I just got recently was figure out who I am and run with that. You know what I mean? Like, because especially with all the diverse looks that I can do, I always change up my look. I have like 30 wigs, you know what I mean? And sometimes I will play a different part, I guess you can say. I try to like dress in like a really long blonde wig and play this type of person or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like I kind of had to figure out who I am, my character, I guess you can say. And it was like, I always try to buy different outfits, and I try to do this, and I buy like a really pink outfit and I put it on and I fucking hate it. But you know what I mean? I try to be this like really bright person, because honestly, like that's one of the things like my ex used to tell me to do. He was like, stop wearing black. Like you look so much happier when you wear colors or some shit like that. You know what I mean? And it was like, I was just kind of tried to do that. And then I realized, like, you know what? I like the goth princess thing. Like that's my thing. I like to be pretty, but I like black. You know what I mean? Like I had this really dope outfit on yesterday that was this black little bodysuit that had rhinestones on it. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's pretty, but it's black, and that works for me, and that's what I like, and that's the type of person that I want to, play, and this badass goth character, but you're going to treat me like a princess and you're going to open my door. You know what I mean? Like that's how, like,
well, you've always done the duality. Hold your nails up.
Right. That's what I mean. Like I am the opposite, and that's how it matches like my tattoos.
Yeah, with your tattoos and everything. Yeah,
but then I've tried to just play, like I've done shoots where I had really, Candyland type makeup, and I had, this really pretty wig. It was like the beginning before I did all this. I'm sure I sent you pictures, but it was like this wig that was blue and pink, and it was whatever, and this candy bra, and I did it, and I've hated every single one of the pictures. I'm like looking at it, and I've posted like one, and I look at them and I'm like, my makeup's done super well, everything's so cute, we could have done the setup a little better, but this bright ass person is not me. There should have been some goth type look to it.
You should have had a hatchet.
Yeah, something.
If you just had a hatchet or an axe, you'd have been great.
Something that's goth, but it's like, don't stir away from what you love and what you're into because somebody else tells you to, or because you think it's going to go to your, your audience more or something like that, because then you're just not doing it right, and you can tell that you're just not happy with it.
Right.
That's definitely one of the best pieces of advice I just got recently, that I was like, yeah, you know what, I have to like stick with this character and fucking own it and run with it, and that. But that's like the one thing that I would mainly say for girls to do, is to make sure you're doing you and don't let other people depict it. And that was the thing when I first was doing this. It was super under wraps for the first 3 years, I would say, that many people didn't know about it. It was very, I didn't post about it. I had a different, work life and a personal life. And when I would get into relationships too, it was like I would be so under wraps about it that even when I told them, I wasn't like, you could tell they were okay with it, but also hated it. And then it was like I didn't do it for so long. And then kind of when I got out of my last relationship, I was like, this is what I love. I want to model. This is, what I want to do. And I almost feel like that I'm more open with it now. It's better for me that I don't have anybody telling me that I have to stop doing it, and it's like, if you're going to go into this, go into it and be full force. You know what I mean? Like, don't let anybody, tell you that you can't do it, and I've heard a lot of girls get out of it for relationships and stuff like that. And it's like, no one's going to tell me that I can't do my job. I get some sides of it, you know what I mean? I get some things they don't want you to do, which I'm okay with making, compromises, but it's like, for the most part, this is what I love, and you just have to love it and just make sure that you're doing what you do for you. That's like the hardest thing for people, because they try to do stuff even for their members and stuff, or they try to I had one girl actually write me on Instagram and told me she did something that she doesn't know if she's okay with doing, and for like a large sum of money, like not super large, but for her at the time it was large, but it was like she now doesn't know if it was okay, like for what what she did. And I was like, that's the one thing that girls first starting out do, and don't do that because you're gonna regret it. You know what I mean? Don't go against your morals because someone throws $1,000 in your face. You know what I mean? Like, oh, here's a grand.
Way faster than you think.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Your morals live with you forever. You know what I mean? What you're okay with, that $1,000 is gonna go away. You know what I mean? So don't do stuff. Yeah, don't do stuff just because a member wants you to. Always stay true to you, because that's how it is. And I mean, I went non-nude for like 10 months, and it was like my people that cared about me as an individual stayed. You know what I mean? And that's like how it is. Like, people are gonna respect you because it's your body and your wishes, and make sure that you stick to what you're happy with. Don't do something just to make other people happy, because this job is your job. You're in this, you're the boss, and that's, I guess, would be my main pointers to people.
I agree with that 100%. And I agree with the idea that like, find out what you want to do gradually. Like if you take it easy and start and test your own limits as you go, it's very easy to hit that wall where you're like, okay, that's not where I want to cross. You didn't like walk straight into, you know, a barn and, you know, just make horrible mistakes for the rest of your life. You just went in a little bit at a time and you found out, you know, it's really easy to step back from the edge than from the bottom of the lake. So I agree with that 100%, man. And like the girls that I know in this that are full out and that stayed in it, that's how they did it. You know, with the Annabelle interview, she says that too. Annabelle Pig's pretty far out, man. She does pretty much everything, but she has her things. She'll tell you, she's like, you're not going to spit on me. You're not going to hit me in the face. You're not going to degrade me. You know, and she's no fuck around, and she'll stop a scene. Like, she don't play, you know, and that's where it's at, is like whatever you have set as your parameter, let that be yours. And then if you get to that line and you're like, now, cool, I'm good to cross it, then you're making that choice. But 100%, man. And on the other side of it, if you give it all up right out the gate, it doesn't work. It's just like that whole thing about hooking up on the first date. Sometimes it works out. Usually it doesn't, because there's nothing more to it. There was no buildup. Like burlesque and strip teasing and all of that stuff works because it's a buildup. It's a game. It's an involvement. You're getting them. You don't want somebody's dollar. Then you want their mind. You want to have them as a part of you. You know, especially if you're looking at a long career. So, speaking of all your looks, what's that?
I said, well, I was just say, like, a lot of people go into industry to make, like, the quick money, and I would, like, that's the thing is I would advise not to do that, you know what I mean? Because then that's where people start doing things that they don't want to do to get that paycheck, like, especially in scenes. Like, people will do something in a scene because they don't want to cut the scene because they need that paycheck for the rent or for whatever they need, and then, like, then they regret it, or then, you know, then they decide, like, oh, you know, this wasn't okay, and it's like you have to know your boundaries before you go into it. And I think that's what's the good thing about camming is you learn a lot about yourself too. Like, I think people need to like really realize that people do this like for, you know, I would do what I do as like a hobby, you know what I mean? And I don't do it because it was easy money, because it's not that whatever. And you have to just know who you are, and you have to know like what you're okay with, and don't just accept stuff if you're like, you know, wishy-washy about it. Just be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do that, because I'm sure you'll come out hating it, you know?
Absolutely. Speaking of all your looks, let's see the back of your head.
Oh my God,
I know. I just saw pictures of it. I've been wanting to check it out.
No, I don't know.
What's that, Fred? Oh, shit.
So we
That's
did the
cool.
And we like colored them purple. Can you even see them?
Yeah, but I can't hear you when you turn away.
Oh my goodness. So we did the boxes that I used to do before, but we colored them purple.
That's really cool.
I don't think it turned out exactly how I wanted it to, because we're kind of like just still trying to figure things out. But I do like shaving all the cool designs into my head and just trying new stuff. And
when are you going to get a portrait of Fred? Oh, you can shave boxes into Fred's head.
Oh, no. Could you imagine if I like died?
That'd be awesome.
Be upset. People ask like why I don't have him tattooed. I'm like, do you know how many dogs I'd have to get tattooed? It's too much though. Look at that.
He's awesome. Fred goes into all the lives. If you ever check weekly, well, irregularly weekly, because if you go on Inked Mag in Facebook, we have her live every week. Typically Tuesdays midday. That's the one that's a little whatever. And then we've switched to, what's the new one? Saturday morning?
Saturday night, super late. Saturday night.
No, Saturday morning. It's Friday night, super late.
No, we did like a Saturday night at like 10 p.m. It was like after the fights or something. It was like 11 p.m. and that had done really well.
I don't even know. All right, so let's talk about your other stuff. Everybody wants to know more about what you do. So we know you do the adult. You got great advice on it. Hey, there's another dog.
No, she's never on camera.
She never comes on camera. She's super shy.
She knows like when it's
Check her out. She's like, what's up?
Knows what's going on.
You give good advice. It's interesting with you and the other girls that a lot of the other girls I work with, like there's this misconception, this old stereotype, oh, you got daddy issues, or oh, this girl must be on drugs, or this must be whatever. But so many of the girls I know in this game that are successful at it, that are actually successful, actually have degrees and did not get tricked into this by some pimp when she got off the bus stop, when she went to the big city and like he scooped her up. I mean, The Deuce is a great show, but it's like, it's not like that all the time. And most of the people involved in it are not in that game. Unfortunately, you do run across the occasional model, and they just have that doped out look in their eyes, and you can tell that somebody got a hold of them. and they're just like, they're not there. And I don't like to engage with that at all, because I feel like I'm in a different thing. You know what I mean? That's like the bank. You could be in a good bank, and you could be in a bank that's straight robbing their customers. Like, there's a difference in everything. And those girls, and you see that, the type, you see the same guy in the background in each pic, you got that same thing, and you know what's happening. That dude's like working her out. You know what I mean? And that's not
models that are like totally messed up on drugs all the time, and they do that for themselves. But then girls that have alcohol problems, and we see their members tipping for shots, and it's like you see she's like totally drunk off her ass, like really bad, and you guys are like, oh, she's like, oh, someone tipped me for another shot, and you guys engage it, and they don't realize that they're also part of the problem. But it's like you can see signs, and you do, and sometimes it's not even pimps. It's just like they get caught up in this lifestyle of this. Whatever, they have, things at their disposal, or they have the money for it. And then it's like or there's underlying depression issues or something like that. They just don't cope with, there's a lot of that in the sex industry. And they don't do the sex industry because they're depressed. It's like they do it because it fulfills their depression, but then they don't get help for their depression either.
Correct. It's just another addiction.
Yeah, it's like just one of those things. But yeah, you definitely see that a lot in this industry for sure.
Absolutely. But in any industry, I worked in the restaurant industry, and that's like one of the most drugged out places I've ever been in my life. I don't think I've ever seen more rampant drug and alcohol abuse than in a kitchen.
Right.
I swear to God, it was the craziest shit. Everybody was like fucked up, and all the drug dealers were the dishwashers. Like, it was always that case. It was like, I think drug dealers just go get their check as a dishwasher just so they can sell drugs. Like, I think that's just like so they can have that cover, and they know all the waiting staff and all the cooks are going to be doing their drugs. I think that's the thing. I'm calling out all dishwashers. You're all drug dealers.
You're a dishwasher. We know what you do.
That's what I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, so you're going to have that problem in any environment. But yeah, absolutely in this one as well. So
people say that all the time to me too, daddy issues, and I'm like, my dad's my like number one supporter. Like,
right. And does all your tattoos.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for 3.
Yeah, so it's like there's no issues. I mean, when I started it was like I was a student in college, and I'm just up late at night, and I was like, this is something I'm down for. Like, sex and nudity has always been very normal to me. Like, Playboy hustler sweat outfits in like 8th grade. So he was like, even when people were shocked like that I went into this when I was 24, it was like, how are you shocked? Like, this is like,
I've been like this the whole time.
Yeah, like you were buying me like a $100 Playboy Letterman's jacket to rock in 8th grade in fucking middle school, and you thought that was normal. Like, you thought I just liked the bunny. It's like, no, I was into that. Like, I loved the magazines, but then I decided to get tattoos, so it was like Playboy's not the option. You know what I mean? So find something else. But growing up, in my dad's tattoo shop, he's had it since 2001. There was inked magazines in it, and I was always like, I want to get one of those magazines one day. And it was like, you see what those girls are, how they're dressed or something, and I wanted to model.
Or not dressed.
Yeah, I modeled when I was younger, when I was like 5 and stuff. So it's like I have always been into this. So how anybody was shocked, but it's like it's just what we like to do. I like to be in front of a camera. I like to entertain, and that's just. But I have a shit ton of tattoos, and I can't be an actor. You know what I mean? So it's like there was what part of it, do you want to go into? Like,
you could act like a brat.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. You try to cover up all my tattoos with makeup. It's like, that's not going to happen. So it's
isn't it weird how a photograph of a woman nude without tattoos and one that is heavily tattooed are perceived as 2 different things?
Oh, the one with tattoos is trashy, no matter what.
No, in a way that she's not actually naked. Like, you couldn't, like, if you look in a tattoo magazine and a girl who's not dressed at all, but is sitting in a way that she's angled so you don't see any of the naughty parts, but she's 100% covered or heavily covered in tattoos, that doesn't have the same impression as just a regular naked girl laying on the ground.
Right, yeah, which is like, but it's like almost a bad thing to be fully tattooed. You know what I mean? Like, they don't take
some circles.
Pretty. Yeah, in some circles. I mean, I think it's great, but it's like, people don't take it as pretty. That's why Playboy like doesn't allow it, or like Hooters and all that stuff. And I think that's so wild that like they don't allow that. And I'm like, this is a different day and age. You know what I mean? And
let's be real about Hooters, okay? Hooters is like that weird place that girls that look down on strippers. Go work and are strippers. Right. Like, they get regulars, they get car payments, they get gifts, they get flowers. They
They have
get
a calendar, you know what
they
I
have a
mean?
calendar. They have a contest. They have a pageant. It's stripping.
Yeah, it's like
Stripping.
literally the same thing. But yeah, it's like they don't hire tattooed girls. But I mean, I've gone into Hooters with girls that have like no tits, and I'm like, how did you get a job at Hooters? Because you don't
Right.
have, you know what I mean? And but yeah, there's still that stigma. But I think I like tattoos. Like that was never gonna hold me back. I knew I wanted to be tatted. Like that was.
Well, and more, I mean, that changes every day. You know what I mean? Like that stereotype gets beaten down pretty heavily.
Right.
And that's been kind of like a purpose of a lot of us for a long time, is to beat that down. The Hooters thing, I mean, the clientele that goes to Hooters, I mean, go to a Hooters now and it's the only place you're guaranteed to see a fucking Hummer in an Affliction t-shirt. It's like, it's the worst, man. Like, it's not cool. It's the people that go, the food sucks. Like, it's terrible.
Tilted Kilt has like the worst food. It's like they're not. Yeah, I don't know what people.
There goes my Hooters and Tilted Kilt endorsement. I was hoping for.
Right. Yeah. They just did not.
No, it's fucking shit, man. In Florida, we had Wing House, which is the same kind of concept, and at least the wings were banging. Like Hooters has terrible food. Like these over at Wing House, they were like freaking big, meaty, dope ass wings, and at least you could go there. You know what I mean? But. And I give it mad credit. Like I'm glad those places exist. I'm glad that the girls can go there and kill it and make money, blah blah blah. But it's so funny to watch Hooters girls sometimes shit on other girls in other professions, like they're not doing the same shit.
Right.
It's like, no, man, you're doing it, and it's just one of the other weird areas it's acceptable versus what other people do.
I mean, that's the same thing with the male strip clubs. What male shows where they're stripping and they're almost pulling their dick out, and you guys are like, "Woo, great!"
What do you mean, almost pulling their dick out? There are strip clubs where they don't almost pull their dick out.
The guy shows like the Thunder Down Under and the Magic Mike and all that or whatever, but it's like they don't pull out their dicks. But these girls, like guys walk past them and they grab at them, but God forbid a guy grabs at you, you're gonna you know what I mean? Throw a fucking fit, and it's like guys just put up with it and they're like, well, whatever, you know. But it's like girls, if I fucking flashed my tits or whatever, was wearing like a really like slutty outfit, you give me a side eye, but you're totally fine hands all over this guy's ass.
Right. Well, look at that. Look at how good the movie did. I mean, you know, people, this is what's hilarious too. People pretend to like be so like, you know, sanctimonious and like, oh, this is bad, that's bad. But 50 Shades of Grey was like the best-selling book in history next to the Bible. And fucking and their the part 9 that they're up to now, you know, 50 Shades of Grayish and all these other stupid ass fucking things I got going. And Magic Mike. Like those things destroyed. You know what I mean? The numbers killed it, like almost like Avengers style numbers. And you know, people are just ridiculous, man. Like if people would just be more relaxed. What's that?
The first Magic Mike that like I think I went to the movies in the theaters and it was terrible. Like people like screaming at the screen and these girls, whatever. Like this is like a lot. You know, like so into it. But yeah.
People think I love when people say the guys are pigs and they're this, that, and the other. And then when you watch the ladies in a moment at a review or at a thing, it's not the same. They're worse. They are 100 times worse. When we would post a tattooed girl, you get positive reviews, you get some negative, you get some whatever, you get a few crude comments. Post a hot dude on there, like a mostly naked tattooed jack dude, and post it on there. Holy shit. Like salivating hyenas that haven't eaten in a year and they just got their first carcass. Unbelievable. I mean, shit that like made me, I was like, that ain't Christian.
That's what I feel like. I mean, even like going to strip club, guys are very, and I don't know if it's just because of the nature and they understand, but guys are very, I guess, respectful where they don't touch the girls and stuff like that. But it's like there's no talk during the Thunder Down Under show if you can grab at a guy when he's running past you. But these girls, I mean, I've talked to a few on both sides, you know, Magic Mike and Thunder, where they've gotten like scratched in their stomachs, they're like bleeding, you know what I mean, from girls just grabbing at them, and they have whatever, and it's just like, how does that like, y'all don't think you're crazy for that? Like that is not, I would never reach out and grab somebody if they didn't want me to, you know, and it's the same dynamic. And girls don't see like anything wrong with it. They just think that they can just like, I don't know. It's weird.
It is weird. It is not balanced. It is definitely double standard. Do you ever notice how like even the media, man, do you ever notice that all the one of the favorite things the media does, and it's 90% out of Florida, for whatever reason. But whenever like a hot teacher bangs a student,
Yeah.
like a hot teacher bangs some 16-year-old kid, and they try and pretend like that's some tragedy and that kid's life is anything other than way cooler now. But they try and like do that, but they will always put her picture on there. And I swear to God, they'll doctor that shit to make it even better. Like, they love that shit. They're like, oh man, hot teacher bangs kid. And it's like that South Park episode with it. And they're like, what? Nice.
Yeah.
It's a huge double standard. For God forbid a 22-year-old teacher, had sex with a 17-year-old girl, he would go down. I mean, it would be it. It would be over. But when the girl does it with the guy, it's almost like even the judges are like, this isn't really a thing, guys.
Yeah, but I mean, you even see like they'll put like guys with their shirts off on shows, on TV shows to promote, Magic Mike and to promote all that, and they do all that. But it's like, these girls in the crowd screaming and whatever and doing all that, and it's like, but have you ever seen them do like a girl show? Like, I think there's like a girls burlesque show out here in Vegas, and it's like, I don't see them like going around doing whatever, because it's like they're okay for guys to have their shirts off and dancing provocatively in front of you, but it's like girls
if
are
the
not.
girl does it, it's something terrible.
Yeah,
unless you're like,
the crowd would be okay with
unless
it.
you're like the Kardashians and you get your whole start by putting out a sex tape intentionally for the publicity because you got taught by Paris Hilton that's how you get famous quick, and then you become like super fucking famous in one of the most watched shows on television.
Yeah, but even, I mean, I guess, Kim Kardashian does go on and they talk to her and stuff like that, and she's fine like with all the stuff that she posts too, but people hate her, for these like nudes she posts or whatever, and I just don't understand that at all. It's like, you guys don't. But all these guys, celebrities, Channing Tatum or whoever posts, and have his shirt off, and it's like people just flock to that, Brad Pitt or whoever, you know what I mean? They're just totally about it, but God forbid Kim Kardashian do technically the exact same thing.
Exactly.
It's wild.
It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so you moved out from California. Where'd you grow up, roughly?
I'm fine telling it now because I don't live there anymore, but I grew up in Apple Valley, which is like Barstow. That's what I tell people, Barstow or San Bernardino, because everybody knows Barstow from like Fast and the Furious movies, or if you drive through California, you have to go past that. So Apple Valley is just what's called the high desert. It's just like a little town. It's pretty big now. I mean, people think it's little, but it's really not that bad. But yeah, I grew up there my whole life. I was born in Riverside, moved to Apple Valley when I was like 5 or something, and then been there ever since.
Well, now you're not. Now you're in Vegas.
Now I'm in Vegas for a year in August. I'll be here. I moved here when I was, 26? 27 now.
Were you trying to hide that? Because I could go delete that part.
No, trying to hide what?
That you're in Vegas.
No, not at all. No, I tell people that I'm in Vegas. The only people I don't tell that I'm in Vegas are the people when that's the first thing they ask me, like in cam or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
They're like, hey, and I'm like, hi, like, where are you from? And I'm like, why does that matter? And you know what I mean? Like,
well, it's an icebreaker. But it's a weird one.
You can be like, how are you? There's so many other things. But the first question, and mainly it's because 90% of it, they want to know because they want to hang out with you. You know what I mean? And I do get that all the time. And I almost hate telling people where I'm going before I go because, like I mentioned, I was going to Chicago Exotica on Twitter. And I already had somebody write me and be like, oh, can we hang out outside of, the convention or whatever? And it's just like, no, that's not why I'm going. But the same thing. I go to LA. When I go to Disneyland, I try to not tell people before because people will meet up or whatever. When I was in Florida, I didn't tell anybody. And then I did a live from Florida and somebody was like, oh, I work there. You should have told me I would have been there. And it's like, no, that's why I didn't tell anybody, So I don't mind telling people I live in Vegas at all. It's on like my Twitter. It literally says like City of Sin or something like that. So, I mean, you can kind of figure it out. But I have nothing against that at all. I just don't tell people obviously where in Vegas because Vegas is massive.
Is it weirder when people get on cam and they're like, hey, I can see the back of your head sitting in front of the pink couch?
No, they're just like, people No, but no, what is weird is people have brought up like movie theaters that I go to, like telling, you know what I mean, or something, and then I just act like I don't know where it is or something.
Do you think that might just be like geotagged from your like phone as you're like checking into places and shit?
No, because I really don't check in. Like I don't check in. Like when I write on Facebook, I make sure that it's gone. When I tag Las Vegas in Instagram, like it doesn't tag where I am technically, like where the general vicinity of where, but they're just talking about like, oh, this place has this deals or something, and it's like almost, I just don't say like, oh yeah, I go to that movie theater.
This is a good conversation. This is safety in adult, right? And that's like, it's not that It's not just because you're in sex work. It's because like anybody known becomes more desirable to be attained, whether it's like, you know, we're not talking about like minivans and kidnappings necessarily, but just in general, people trying to interact with you and intersect with you. And being a female, being an attractive female today or at any time throughout history or in any place in the world, it comes with its own risks. And not just like a fear thing of like hatchet people, it's just annoyance. And people don't necessarily mean bad by it, but if they feel like there's a connection or a potential for a connection, you're like, hey, I gotta ask. It's like, might as well see if it happens. But what some people don't take into account is you're not the first one to do this. You're not the first one to do this this minute. And like, you're just like, you're bombarding these people. Oh, a lady is going to tell you, you're gonna know if she's into you. She's going to make it aware that like this is going to be something that happens. You don't have to keep fishing for it. So those are interesting practices. There are things like we talk about with the wish lists that you can put on Is My Girl and put on your social medias. People do Amazon wish lists or Inkshop wish lists. You got to be realistic about that. Go get a P.O. box. Don't have that shit sent to your house.
Yeah.
Like don't be stupid. You know what I mean? You're just inviting opportunity.
Right, and that's the thing. It's hard, like, you know, even when I went to Florida, I never told people the dates. They didn't really know when I was leaving or where I was going. But it's hard with the conventions because obviously everybody knows when the conventions are. But even like Adult Con, I think is next week or whatever. And it's like I didn't tell anybody, and it's like not a for sure of like that I'm going. And that's the reason too, because almost if you give people too much time to plan, they'll plan to go. But it's hard to like keep those things a secret just because they are set dates or whatever. But yeah, I definitely try to like not tell people, especially Disneyland. I never tell anybody like, oh, I'm going to Disneyland tomorrow. Like if I do, it's really late or something, or when I'm there, like I'll post when I'm there. But for the most part, I try to not tell anybody. And I don't think I'm too popular or people will show up, but so you just don't know, and you just don't want to, and you know, that's just, you have to be safe for sure.
Absolutely. You got to take care of yourself.
And people forget that. Like, I don't think they don't think of that. Like, clubs, when I go to the club, I never tell anybody where I'm going or when I'm going to the club or stuff like that. You know, I even was talking to somebody yesterday that was in Vegas or whatever, and they don't know that I live in Vegas. Sorry, but they were like telling me about these clubs they're going to and stuff like that. And it was just like, some people I just don't even tell. Like, I live here because, you know what I mean? But that thing is, they're like, they think it's normal to like meet up. And it is, because like for the most part, you know, but then it's not at the same time, and people don't understand. And it's hard to explain how it's not normal to like meet up with people.
Right.
You know, from the
and you said to a certain degree you're a bit of an introvert, so you like having your own space and your own parameters and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're not just like a little socialite.
Yeah, I mean, like, I do like to talk to people, and I'm never mean to people, that's for sure, but I do like I don't like to have this whole conversation, especially when I go out or something. I hate getting hit on when I go out, and that's like, and I'm always nice to people, and I understand why they do it, so I'm never mean for them to talk to me. And some girls are rude, which I think is not okay. Like, girls will go to bars and be really mean to guys that talk to them, and it's like, well, you're at a bar, that's what's gonna happen. But for the most part, I would rather someone not engage with me, because I'm just going out, like to hang out, do my own thing, and it's like, now you're following me around trying to get to know me and get my number, and I'm just like, this is not where.
But that's such a crazy duality, right? Because like, I don't do the bar scene or whatever, but like, you know, that's typically a factor of bar life, right? Is meeting up and hooking up. So that's really crazy for some people. Not crazy, but that's difficult for some people to get, because they're like, hey, I need to go meet somebody, I'm gonna go to the bar. You know what I mean? So they think they're just doing what they're supposed to do, and that's where people are going to do that. But like you said, there is two different levels of it. Some girls just want to go out and hang out with their friends and do their thing and just be in a public environment. And being like cool about it and dismissive is one thing. Acting like a total bitch on the other side of it is ridiculous. Like, that's just not cool.
There's things at clubs where it's like, if I've told you no, then you just back off. But then like, it's annoying when people like, I'm nice to you, and then I'm like, no, I don't want to dance. And then like, you come up behind me, and then you still put your hand around my waist and try to dance with me. I'm like, no. Like, the worst part was when I go to the club, usually I stand kind of outside the club and I wait for like my friends and I walk in with them. And I had one guy, and I know he was drunk, but come up to me, but he tried to put his arm around me, and I had to like dodge him. And I was like, I don't know you, like, don't put your arm around me. But then he like tried to kiss me on the cheek, told me to kiss him on the cheek. He told me like 5 times. I was like, no, like, how many times do I have to tell you no? And then he said something about asking my boobs were real. and then sends something about my eyes, and then even in the end still like brush his hand against my stomach. And I was just like shocked. I was like, how did this person just not walk away? Like when I just told you no, I was very nice to you. She's like, no, like I'm good, like I don't want to, like kind of laughed about it. And then it was like, you still ended up touching me, and I was just kind of like, God, if I could punch you, like I would. But I've had that happen at clubs where
That's
guys.
we need like electrified pepper spray.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I have a taser. It's like, do I pull it out on him then? You know what I mean? Like how far does it go? Like, but you know, clubs, guys will walk past you and just grab your ass and stuff like that too. And it's really like, how do you think, you know, this is okay? So I get both sides of it, but some people are just trying to be nice, having a conversation, and you can, you know, have one with them. And I do, and then I'm just like, you know, I'm gonna go over here or something, and then just don't follow me, you know.
Right.
And even when I was at the club this last time or whatever, somebody, I guess, wanted to talk to me. They didn't. They asked my friend for my number. And I first like called them like a pussy. I was like, oh, what, you're too much of a pussy to talk to me at the club? Like, say hi to me. But then I'm like, but then again, you're yelling in the fucking, like, it's like you're in a subwoofer and you're yelling at each other. You know what I mean? Like, hi,
Yeah.
my name is, you know, so it's like I'm not really shooting you down either for not talking to me, because I was just jamming by myself, and that's fine. You know, and it's like, but yeah, there is both sides of it. It's like, don't just, because some people are too overbearing. It's like you tell them no, they keep going, and it's like,
Right.
that's too much.
Absolutely. Respect the boundaries, fellas.
They don't get that. They
And
really
ladies, stop scratching male strippers, and guys, stop grabbing girls' butts.
I've like heard of them girls like biting them and stuff like that. I'm like, bite you? Like how? Like where does?
I'm not okay with strangers biting each other. Like people have gross mouths. Like people are nasty. Like
that's what I mean. They think that they can just like, they're just like your meat to grab, and I'm like, no. Like, because if a guy bit you, you'd be some fucking arresting sexual.
Oh my god, it'd be like all over the news.
I would have thought
Psycho guys on bath salts bites some girl.
Right. I mean, even if I was a male stripper and some girl bit me, I'd have her bitch ass arrested. But that's I'm like, get this girl out of here. Like, no way.
All right, no biting strippers.
No.
Thank you for the tips. Everybody that wants to see Lynn, shout out where they can find you.
You can find me on Is My Girl, of course. But $10 a month, see exclusive pictures and videos that I don't post anywhere else. Merchandise that you can buy. Twitter, Instagram, it's the same tag for both, the letter J, _LYNNXO. And I do all the lives on Ink Magazine and Is My Girl Facebook when I feel like it.
This guy is like, this is a good one here.
Better.
You are getting better, and I'm going to continue to interview the ladies of adult that are doing it the way y'all are doing it, because I respect the shit out of it. And I think that by being entrepreneurs and being smart about it, and really taking it away from the club owner atmosphere and taking it away from the organization that kind of controls all the girls' careers and stuff like that, you know, there is still a little bit out there like that. But the best way, in my opinion, to really separate the good from the bad in the adult industry is let the people that are selling it run it. Like, let them organize it. Let them have their own thing. You're all your own entity. You're your own empowered thing. And I mean, you're your own brand. And that's what's awesome. I love that with anything in life, any entrepreneur, any field. If you got a hand in your destiny, and you're taking control of your own situation, you can make it a much better place, a more profitable place, a much safer place. And I love hearing y'all talk, the ones that are making it clear to the misinformed public that not everybody in this field is some victim. Like, these are family people, educated family people with support from friends and family, and are doing this by choice. Not everybody is some fucking person that needs to be saved. Like, put your attention where it needs to go, deal with your own life, make yourself happy, explore things that enrich your relationships and enrich your personal life, and stop focusing on other people just because they're doing shit that you can't comprehend.
I am not the reason your husband cheats on you.
No, not at all.
Like my Instagram bio or something. No,
that's your next shirt.
Yeah.
Next shirt. I'm for real. That's a great shirt. Jalen, I am not the reason your husband cheats on you.
Yeah, like dash Jalen.
All right, on that, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Peace.